What's happening, everyone? JayShockblast here, and we are here in this video to talk about the Green Lanterns of LEGO DC Supervillains. And while I titled the video Green Lanterns, we're going to focus on all the lanterns in LEGO DC Supervillains. Now, the last game, LEGO Batman 3, actually was a very lantern-heavy game. All of the little hub worlds centered around the different worlds of the various rings that you could possess in the DC universe. I consider myself a very big fan of the cosmic universe of both DC and Marvel, and some of the Lantern characters are some of my favorites in all of comics. Green Lantern, definitely one of my top 5 characters in the DC universe, Hal Jordan specifically. We have 5 Green Lanterns in this game, and I know some people are a little disappointed that we don't have many other Lantern characters. As you can see, we have the star Sapphire Carol Ferris, who is, of course, the love interest of Hal Jordan, and from the Green Lantern movie, was played by Blake Lively, and, of course, Hal Jordan was played by Ryan Reynolds. That's where they met and fell in love and got married, and that's a pretty cool story, and very central to the character Star Sapphire, who basically the emotion of love is embodied by the Star Sapphire core. All of the lanterns represent different emotional spectrums. Obviously, the Green Lanterns are willpower, and Hal Jordan is the most famous of the Green Lanterns. Now, I know some people are going to be disappointed that Guy Gardner isn't back, and Kyle Rayner, who wasn't even actually a Green Lantern, he was a White Lantern in that game, he isn't back, but there are still some great characters in the game. Before we get into the Green Lanterns, like I said, let's actually focus on the non-Green Lanterns that are still Lantern Corps members, and we'll actually start with Carol Ferris, like I said. She is throwing down the heart, and I love this character, honestly. This character design is gorgeous. It's really, really awesome, and the Star Sapphires, even though they represent love, they have not always been a very loving group. It's pretty much all females. Not that that's a bad thing, but they have actually been pretty violent. And Star Sapphire, even though she's Carol Ferris, I mean, her character actually kind of brought them together a little bit more. So definitely a very interesting character. And, deputized as a Star Sapphire during the Blackest Night storyline was Wonder Woman, who has also been a Star Sapphire Lantern. Now, another character that is back in this game is Sinestro. Now, it obviously makes a lot of sense to have Sinestro come back because he is a part of the storyline. I don't know if he's a founding member of the Legion of Doom, but he has been a long-standing member, even when he was just wearing... He wasn't even a Yellow Lantern, which they call the Sinestro Corp. He wasn't even a Yellow Lantern back then. He was actually wearing like a blue and black, like almost Chester-looking costume. His character has definitely evolved over the years, and some would say he was at one point the greatest of the Green Lanterns. He was Hal Jordan's mentor in some ways, albeit reluctantly, and very, very sure of himself, probably to the point of arrogance. And he is willing to do anything to do what he feels is the right thing. The Yellow Lanterns are based on fear, and pretty obvious choice to have here. Feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my boy Disciple Fear, who is probably the biggest Sinestro fan that I know. Sinestro has also been a White Lantern, and I'm pretty sure he's actually held all the Lantern rings at some point or another. So yeah, Sinestro back makes a lot of sense, and that is that. So not quite a Lantern, but part of the Earth 3 Lanterns.
What am I doing here, Ring? What? You're not talking to me now?
I think it's like the Volthum Corps or something like that. I don't know exactly what they call him, but this is Power Ring, and he is one of the Crime Syndicate, Justice Syndicate members, whichever you want to call them, from Earth 3. That is part of the storyline. He is basically Hal Jordan from another dimension. I think that is actually literally his name. Yeah, Hal Jordan of Earth 3. So, So yeah, he's quite cowardly. That's actually his shtick. So yeah, we've got him, and it is what it is. Now, the next two characters that we're going to focus on are brought back from Lego Batman 3, and it makes a lot of sense. And I have two theories as to why Atrocitus and Dex-Starr are back. If I ever stop talking, it's because I can hear them talking, and I want to hear what they say. So, as you guys are aware, the folks at TT Games love having animal characters in the games. That's why we've had Ace the Bat Hound, why we have Crypto back in this game, and why we have a certain Green Lantern that's in this game. So I have two theories as far as why Dex-Starr and Atrocitus made it back, and not someone like, Larfleeze or Saint Walker or any of the other Blue Lanterns. There's an Elephant Blue Lantern that would have certainly been interesting, or Knock, or any of the other lanterns that aren't represented here. So obviously I feel like Dex-Starr is the one that they wanted, and you kind of can't do Dex-Starr without Atrocitus. They kind of go together, and in order to do Dex-Starr, they had to bring back his master. It's weird because I thought Atrocitus would make a good choice in the storyline, but I guess not. But the biggest reason why they brought Atrocitus back, and also Dex-Starr because of it, is because of me. Atrocitus is my favorite character in DC Comics, and quite frankly, they just did not want me to be upset, and I am a big advocate for the game, and it would be a great loss if in every video I was simply complaining that Atrocitus wasn't in the game. You might not think that I have that kind of sway, but if you remember, I am 100% the only reason and completely responsible for Darkhawk being in LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2, and I'm pretty sure that Nova was put in the first two LEGO Marvel games because of me, even though they had never heard of me for the first LEGO Marvel game. So you can thank me for Atrocitus being back. He is one of the greatest characters in all of DC Comics, and I'm positive that anyone from TT Games will go along with this joke. So Atrocitus is awesome. Like, honestly, I feel like one way or another he was going to be in this game. I was never worried about it. I could have settled for him just being one of the Aquaman DLCs. To be honest, I don't know how or why they're doing two Aquaman DLCs, especially when they have the Rage of Atlantis, DVD that's out there right now. That could have been the theme of one of them, and the movie the other. But then they went ahead and put in one of the other characters that I thought would make a lot of sense for that, and that is one of our first Green Lanterns that we're looking at, Jessica Cruz. Jessica Cruz was a central figure in Aquaman Rage of Atlantis, even though Aquaman's the one on the title. And she, along with Simon Baz here, are the two current main featured characters in the Green Lantern comic book right now. So they are the two Green Lanterns of Earth at this moment. I don't know, there's like a million Earthling Green Lanterns, so it's kind of hard to keep them all straight, especially when there are some other ones that are just super popular, especially Kyle Rayner. But there's also Guy Gardner, John Stewart. They're all so well known. Having two more Green Lanterns from Earth, I don't know why it makes sense, but we've got one that represents the Latino community, and then we have one that represents the Muslim community. So, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. Who cares at the end of the day? Does it really matter if you have 8,000 space cops in one sector? I mean, I guess that's kind of almost the point of the Green Lanterns at some point. To think that there's one of them representing an entire sector. Maybe it's actually good that we have so many Earth-bound, Green Lanterns, because it is the center of the universe, it seems. So Jessica Cruz, I did not know a ton about this character, but apparently she is actually quite popular. She actually apparently has to overcome great fear, which is the purpose of the Green Lantern Corps, and she had hard times with constructs, and I feel like the movie really did a good job of introducing her to the community. I want to go back real quick to Atrocitus. I didn't mention, people keep bringing up the bull I probably should start over at this point, but I'm 10 minutes in, so we're winging it. I meant to mention his bull, okay? A lot of people mention this and don't know what it is. That is the avatar of the Red Lanterns. That is the Butcher. And it's a lot like Parallax is for the Sinestro Corp. It's basically just their entity that they follow. So it's not just a random bull that he's riding. It represents the rage of the Red Lantern Corps. Anyway, back to Jessica Cruz. She's a really great character. I've grown to appreciate her. I really want to dive back into the Green Lantern comics because for a long time the Lantern stuff was the only stuff in DC I was remotely following. So Simon Baz he definitely had to overcome great fear in his own way. He was chosen by a ring that was fused together by Hal Jordan and Sinestro, and he happened to be driving. This is such a bad stereotype. He happened to be driving a van that had a bomb in it and was a suspected terrorist because of it. He drove it into a warehouse in which he was formerly employed, also making it just bad decisions altogether. And he has gone on to become a really very fascinating and interesting member of the Green Lantern Corps. You know, and like I said, him and I almost like I go to the comic shop every week, and I haven't bought all the Green Lantern books, but I look at them every single week, and I'm like, I just don't know enough about these characters, but these covers are so great, and it's always both of them. You know, it's like the new buddy cop movie. I don't know if they're romantically linked or not. You know, I don't want to I guess I could speculate, but I don't know if that's part of it. But you know, they are definitely building themselves up as lanterns, and I think, you know, we're looking for new ways to incorporate characters, and I'm always advocating creating new characters, you know, using the Lantern Corps and not like losing a lantern, but basically adding to the stable. That should be something that I applaud, so I'm good with it, and they're pretty cool characters. Next up we have Badge, and there's a reason why I have Badge out with Simon Baz, and that is because Badge is the one who actually found Simon and kind of helped get him to Oa and the places he needed to be to really learn about being a Green Lantern. He's not even the first squirrel-based lantern. There was another squirrel kind of lantern named C'hp. I'm assuming that's what the intention of their apostrophe names is to be like C'hp and Badge. If it's not, I don't care. Good enough. Now Badge can roll around on a squirrel, an acorn. He's not from Earth, though, by the way. He's not just a squirrel that got picked, where Dex-Starr is from Earth and is a cat that got picked. But he actually has a really great story. You can read that another time. I've explained it before. But yeah, you know, we got our squirrel lantern. And like I said, TT Games loves their animal characters. And, you know, they had to have one here. And it makes sense that if they're going to include a random, strange animal character that they haven't done before, that it would be a Green Lantern. So, there you go. We have Badge. And I believe our final member of the Green Lantern Corps is actually one of the more popular ones. It is John Stewart.
It'd be a real shame if someone ruined the good mood I'm in today.
Now, I love John Stewart, and for a lot of reasons. He had to make some tough decisions at one point, and I don't remember what the name of it. It was one of the lanterns. It was like a living planet, and he basically, it was like Ego basically, but I forgot what it was called. He basically had to make a decision where he like had to snipe it essentially, and he killed it, and he lived with a lot of regret. He actually destroyed a world as well. So I mean, like, there's a lot of really hard decisions he's had to make and overcome. I'm probably like fusing two stories that I haven't read in a while together, but like I remember very specifically, you know, him having to like make a tough decision and in a world basically dying because of it. Now, he is a former Marine, which is another reason why I appreciate it. My father, as many people know, Gunnery Sergeant, United States Marine Corps. and I was born Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, on a Marine Corps I don't know if they're an air base, but on a Marine Corps base. And you know, the Marines are. I did not serve because I could not. I have a hearing deficiency that would have prevented me. But I also, in watching my father serve, I knew it was not the life for me. But I just love the Corps, though, and appreciate everything it did for our family anyway. And I really love that he has that. He brings those values to the Corps, the Green Lantern Corps, the other Corps, in his life. So yeah, man, it makes sense that they chose him over probably the more popular Kyle Rayner, who hasn't even, I don't think, been a Green Lantern in this game. I think, like I said before, he was just a White Lantern. Kyle Rayner, another character that's held like pretty much all the rings, which is why he was a White Lantern in the last game. And Guy Gardner, he was in the DLC from the last game, so yeah. But those are our Lantern characters in the game. I believe that's everybody. Just double checking because I have a bad tendency of missing people. What do you guys think about the Lanterns in the game? Are you sad that they went light on Lanterns? It honestly makes so much sense that they did, because, you know, quite frankly, the last game was about that storyline, and this one they're trying to focus on a lot of different villains. Here's my custom Batman Yellow Lantern. I call him the Yellow Lantern. It's Sinestro Corp, but anyway. So, what lanterns are your favorite? It doesn't have to necessarily be these ones in the games. What lantern, like, light emotion, do you like the most? Personally, for me, I'm a Red Lantern guy. I love the Rage. Are you into the yellow, the blue? Are you a Larfleeze guy in the orange? You got to have everything for yourself. Would love to know. And also, who do you think in the DC universe would make another good Green Lantern? All of these questions in the comments below, hopefully. And there we have it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you.